Okay, Be'ezrat Hashem, Na'aseh v'natzliach. I want to welcome you to the Beacon Tower Lunch and Learn as we continue our learning of Parashat Shavua. Before we get started, I'd like to give an honorable mention to our gracious host, H&M Builders and the Dornbush family, allowing us this use of their space, of their headquarters in Aventura. Be'ezrat Hashem, that H&M Builders have a lot of continued success in all they do. In the business, in the personal life, health, wealth, happiness, and b'sorot tovot. Also want to give an honorable mention to Judah Mendel, who is right now in Cleveland celebrating his sister's wedding. Be'ezrat Hashem, the Mendel family, we have bracha, and then the new married couple have a lot of success, and Be'ezrat Hashem that they have health, wealth, success, b'sorot tovot, and Be'ezrat Hashem in 9 months from now we'll be blessing them on a Brit Milah. Amen. Also want to give, that's for Mendel, Lord Judah Mendel. Also want to give an honorable mention to Hummus Factory, who always gives us fresh food, sponsors this class every single week. Beautiful food, delicious food. Anytime you have a chance, please visit that business. They have several locations, one in Sterling, one in Boca. And I also want to dedicate this lesson to the refuah shlema of my sister and the new baby girl. She just gave birth today. They married to bring her to Okay, also want to give this lesson be to the refuah shlema of David ben Zohara, Yaniv ben Reina, Sarah bat Alia, Yeshaya Yosef ben Zari, בתוך כלל חולי עמו ישראל, and to Chanukah, to the guys that are having a refuah shlema in Brooklyn.
Amen. Amen.
And to the Ilui Nishmat of Moshe Halevi ben Shoshana. Okay, Baruch Hashem, there's so many people in the world that all need Yeshuot, they all need to be connected to Torah. Baruch Hashem that we're involving them. Let's get started. This week's parasha is Parashat Balak. It's very interesting because not too many people's names make it into the Torah. As a matter of fact, only 5 people have their names in the Torah. We have Noach, we have Yitro, we have Korach, we have Balak, and we have Pinchas. And each one had to do something special to merit to get his name inside the book. Now, without even going too far, we know that Balak is one of the most wickedest people on the planet. Rasha Merusha, a wizard, black magic master. How does he get a parasha in the Torah? So several things we can learn. We know that Noach made it into the Torah because he was tzaddik. Noach had tzaddik be'amav. Yitro, his name was included in the Torah. Why? Because Chazar b'tshuva. He was a Kohen Gadol for Avodah Zarah, and all of a sudden he became a tzaddik. He converted to Judaism. Korach, how did Korach make it into his name to the parashiyot? He says because Korach ve'adato. He says in reality Korach was a tzaddik, and adato and the people that were with him were also tzaddikim. The only problem was they got sucked into machloket. If it wasn't for that machloket, they'd be righteous people. So we have to learn that lesson from Parashat Korach. We have Pinchas, that's next week's parasha. Next week's parasha, we're going to see Pinchas as a big player. Pinchas did Kiddush Hashem. The minute he saw that, we even see it in the end of this week's parasha, the next week's parasha, we see that he saw something wrong, something was against the Torah, something was against God. He went all in. He didn't care about anything or anybody. So because he did Kiddush Hashem, his name got commemorated in the Torah, Parashat Pinchas. This week, we have Balak. Why would Balak make it? So the Chazal tell us, our rabbis tell us, because he brought 42 korbanot. At the end of the parasha, we're going to see he brought 42 sacrifices. And not only that, he also merited that Ruth HaMoaviyah comes from his country, from his nation. And Ruth HaMoaviyah, we know, is the grandmother of David HaMelech. And the great-grandmother of Shlomo HaMelech. So because of that, he merited to it. Very interesting. You bring 42 sacrifices. I need to understand that a little bit better. But the fact that Ruth HaMoaviyah came from him and David HaMelech, you know what? Yeah, I'll give him credit. Mashiach came from him. Why not? However, these 5 names in the Torah correspond to 5 different types of Jews we have in the world. It's another way of learning it. We have Noach. What is it? Every generation we have a tzaddik. Bechol dor yesh tzaddik. In that particular generation, they said Noach had tzaddik. Rashi says in his generation. In a different generation, maybe it would have been differently. But in that particular generation, he had the title of tzaddik. So Noach, you have to know that every single generation we have a tzaddik. Yitro represents the generation of Chozrim B'Tshuva. We have people, every generation, that are coming back to Hashem. They went off the derech, they didn't know, they come back, Chozrim B'Tshuva. It's a type of Jew that we have in the world. Then we have the type of people that are Korach. What are they? Machloket shelo l'shem shamayim. They come and they do an argument. They come and they do machloket, division between people. And it's not for the sake of God. It's not for the sake of Torah. It's machloket just to create machloket. I don't have to go too far. You can find this in your home. You can find this in your community. You can find it in your family. You can find it in anywhere. That there's always like these people that love to get into a fight. For what? For the sake of getting into a fight. That's the Korach generation. The Korach people. Then we have the Balak generation, or the Balak people in Judaism. What are they? Those are the Kofrim, the heretics. What are they? These are the ones that not only that they like to create machloket, but they go against the Torah. They go against the Judaism. Anything that they can do to further somebody from the Kedusha, and anywhere they could create division or separation between Israel and the Torah, that's the Balak. And this week's parasha, we see that this guy was bent, he was really wanted to make one thing happen, to distance the Jews from God, to distance Jews from the Torah, in order for them to fail. That's the type of Balak that are in the world. And then there's Pinchas. What's Pinchas? Pinchas hu Eliyahu. Next week, Rashi is going to reveal to us that Pinchas HaKohen is actually the reincarnation of Eliyahu Navi. Pinchas hu Eliyahu. And what's Eliyahu going to do as soon as we finish the class? He's going to levaser. He's going to come and tell us Mashiach is coming, right? Ezat Hashem. In our days, we get to see Eliyahu come and tell us that Mashiach is here. That's the generation of Pinchas. Now, if you take all these different types of Jews we just spoke about, the tzaddik that's in the generation, the chozer b'tshuva, the kofer, the one that does kiddush Hashem, all these different, the one that does machloket. If you take all these different types of Jews, that's who we are. That's what makes us up, whether you like it or not. And the rabbis tell us, if you take the last letter of Noach, of Korach, of Balak, of Yitro, and of Pinchas, you get the numerical value of 172, which is equals to Yaakov. What does that mean? He says, we know that Yaakov how was he born? He was holding on to the heel of Esav. Yaakov, we know, has 2 names. He has Yaakov and Israel. Yaakov, how was he introduced to the world? That he's holding on to the heel of Esav. So what does that mean? Esav, we know, is everything that we don't want to be. He's the complete opposite of the Jew, is Esav. And what happened? We have Jews that are holding on to the heel of Esav. That even though that they're here in Miami, in Israel, in Colombia, in China, anywhere they are, instead of being Jewish, they're holding on to the heel of Esav. They're still connected to Esav. Why? They want to act like them, talk like them, be like them, dress like them. They're holding on to the heel of Esav. So he says, the reason why we have this connection, all these different types of Jews in the world, is because we're still under the status of Yaakov. What's the status of Yaakov? Yaakov is when he's holding on to the heel of Esav. Now, we know that Yaakov went through a transition and he went into the status of Israel. How do you transition from Yaakov to Israel? What's the difference between Yaakov and what's the difference between Israel? It's the same person. What type of status do the Jewish people have to get that tag that says Israel? So, a perfect example of how the Jews transition from Yaakov holding on to the heel of Esav and getting the label of Israel is in this week's Parashat. This week's Parashat, we talk about Balak. I'll read you a couple of Pesukim so we can get a feeling of what's going on here. Vayar Balak ben Tzipor. We see that there's a character now that's coming into the parasha. His name is Balak ben Tzipor. Et kol asher asa Yisrael Emori. He saw everything that the Jewish people did to the Emori. You know who's the Emori? We have Sichon Melech HaEmori Uleog Melech HaBashan. These were two giants. The last two giants to be in the world. Og and Sichon. They were gangsters. They were so big, they were the size of this building. And what they would do is they would go to towns and tell them, give me money, give me food, give me everything that I ask for, and in return, I'll protect you. Mafiosa. That's what they did. Two big giants. Comes Israel, comes Moshe Rabbeinu, comes with the Israeli army, and they kill the gangster that's been around for hundreds of years. They kill Sichon, Melech HaEmori, and Og Melech HaBashan. So now Balak ben Tzipor, who's the king of Moab, sees this, starts to shake. Says, who's going to protect me? Who's going to now get me out of trouble? I had these big giants. Nobody would take care. Nobody would touch me. I would give him a few cows. I would give him some money, and I'd be good. And he got very, very scared from the nation of Israel because he was a large nation. And he was very fearful of the nation of Israel. Moab goes to Zikne Midian, the elderly of Midian. You know what's weird in this pasuk? Moab and Midian are enemies. They never liked each other. They were complete arch nemesis between one another. Moab and Midian, they never got along. All of a sudden, the king of Moab goes to the elderly of Midian. It's a weird scenario. He says, He says, there's a nation right now that's, a cow. You know how a cow eats? A cow first goes to the grass, to the pasture, and it licks the grass that it wants to eat. It licks it. And the saliva that it puts on it starts to break down the grass. And later on, what it does, it almost like softens it up. And later on, it comes back to the area that it licked, and it chews on it till it leaves nothing. So Balak says, it looks like the Jewish people are coming now to lick the grass. In other words, they're coming, and soon they're going to wipe me out. I'm not going to be there, just like the cow does the same thing for the grass. And Balak ben Tzipor, Melech Moab ba'etahi, and he happened to be the king at that moment. What happened? We know that after the war, that now that Sichon and Melech HaEmori and Og Melech HaBashan are no longer over there, what happened? And they say, who's the next one in line? We need somebody just to represent us. Just at that particular moment, he was the right person in the right place, and they put him in as a leader. But typically, he wouldn't be in that position. And Bilam now sends messengers to Bilam ben Petorah. Bilam ben Petorah, here we go. He is now the big wizard, the black magician. They call him Ben Petorah. You know what Ben Petorah? Because before he was a big magician, he used to interpret dreams. He upgraded himself. He became a wizard. And after he became a wizard, He got the nevuah one time in this parasha, and then he went down. He was actually surprised that he got to such a high level. And he tells him, there's a big nation in front of me, and I need your help. He says, go and curse this nation for me. He's bigger than me, stronger than me. He says, listen, I need your help. Without you, they're going to get me. They're going to win. I know whoever you curse is going to be cursed, and whoever you bless is going to be blessed. I need your help. So we see that first we have Balak and Bilam. Who's Balak? Balak is the king of Moab. He was just temporarily put into that position because all the other kings were dead. The rabbis tell us he was more dangerous than Bilam. He was a bigger hater than Bilam. He was a bigger wizard than Bilam. But he only knew onto a certain level. He says the power of the Jew is what? Moshe. What is Moshe an expert at? Tefillah. He's very good at tefillah. He says, look, I know how to make magic. I know how to take a frog's foot and a raven's feather, and I know how to pluck one hair, put it into a pot, make yishuv. I'm perfect at that. But I need somebody who has power in his mouth, that knows how to curse, that knows how to, the same way that they have the power in Moshe, who has the power of the mouth, I need somebody like that. So I need to hire you, Bilam. Come and help me. But Balak, as a matter of fact, they call him Balak ben Tzipor. He's the son of a bird. He's not really the son of a bird. The reason why they call him Balak ben Tzipor is because Balak used to walk around with a bird. And this bird, he used to use for black magic. He would send the bird into the sky. Then he would take a cauldron, like a pot, and he would put, like you see in the movies, like boiling water. And whatever the bird would see miles and miles away, he'd be able to see inside the pot. In other words, he had the original drone. You know the drones that we have today? The thing goes over there and you can see it on your iPhone? He had it. Balak ben Tzipor. Again, the king of Moab. These few pasukim that we just learned on the outside get opened up even more if we learn Rashi. I think it's always nice when you discover Rashi. Rashi is pshat. You know what's pshat? It's the simple interpretation. You don't have to go too deep. You don't have to, you don't have to do any mental gymnastics. Rashi just opens up to you what the pasuk is saying. So look what he says over here in pasuk beg. He says that first of all, Vayar Balak ben Tzipor et kol asher asa Yisrael laomi amar Elu shne malachim shayinu betuchim aleim lo amdu fneim. He says there were a couple of kings that we were for sure are going to protect us, right? So he said Og and Sichon. He says if they're not, if they weren't able to withstand the Jewish people, anu alachat kama v'kama, how we're going to do it? Right away he had fear. Rashi is telling us Balak ben Tzipor had fear. If you go down to pasuk Dalet, it says over there, Zikne Midian. What does it mean, Zikne Midian? He says, V'halo me'olam hayu sonim ze et ze. He says Midian and Moab used to hate each other. They used to hate each other. But because they feared Israel, El amiratan shel Yisrael asu shalom benehem. They made a peace between them. And what did they do? They said, listen, we can't beat them on our own. Let's unite. And hopefully because we unite, we're going to be able to fight them off. And they said, okay, so what did the elderly say? And they say, it seems to me, that when we're looking at the guy, they have the one guy over there, Moshe Rabbeinu. This Moshe Rabbeinu, he has the power of his mouth. I have somebody over here in my country, Bilam. He also has a lot of power with his mouth. Let's go get him. So over here we see that we have fear and then enemies unite. We have two enemies that are uniting in order to go against Eretz Yisrael. Pasuk Hey says, Eretz b'nei Amo it says the Kadosh Baruch Hu gave Shechina for Bilam. Now, as soon as you realize that Kadosh Baruch Hu was speaking to Bilam, right away you ask a very basic question. I thought God only speaks to holy people. What is he talking to the most wickedest man? To the man who's supposed to be the epitome of Rasha in the world? Why is Hashem talking to him? So Rashi tells us, מפני מה השרה הקדוש ברוך הוא שכינתו על גוי רשע? What's the reason that הקדוש ברוך הוא put his שכינה, his own שכינה, on an evil goy? כדי שלא יהיה פתחי פה לאומות, לומר, אילו היו לנו נביאים, חזרנו למוטב. So the goyim could never say, you know what, if we had prophets like you guys, if we had prophets like Moshe, then we also would be good guys. So he gave him a prophet. He gave him the prophet of Bilam. They say, לא קם בישראל כמו שעוד. We say there's a song that we say on Friday night, and I don't know if you guys do it. We have a custom. Don't get me started on songs. But it says as soon as we finish the tefillah, there's a song that we sing. Yigdal Elohim Chai V'Yishtabach, right? So, there you go. That song right over there. It says. לא קם כישראל, לא קם בישראל כמו שעוד. It says, there never again in Israel stood up a prophet like Moshe Rabbeinu. So we learn from here, right, בישראל. But for the Goyim, yes. They say that Bilam was the equivalent of Moshe Rabbeinu as a prophet to the Goyim. So don't say you never had a big guy, a big prophet like Moshe Rabbeinu. You had, his name was Bilam. What did he do with himself? That's up to him. And what did he tell them? He says, let's get together. So we have Balak and Bilam saying, let's unite. If you take the name Balak, and if you take the name Bilam, listen to what we could do. We're going to do surgery right now. We're going to take the last two letters of Balak. Of Bilam. What's the last two letters of Bilam? Ain Mem. Am. If we take the last two letters of Balak, is Lamed Kuf. So Ain Mem and Lamed Kuf spells out Amalek. Now if we take the letters that are left over, we have from Balak Bet, and from Bilam we have Bet Lamed. So we have Lamed Bet Bet, which reads out Levav. So if you take the two names, Balak and Bilam, you take out two words out of it. Levav Amalek. Their joint hearts was Amalek. What's Amalek? Amalek is our arch nemesis. They're against us. They said, let's unite, let's put our hearts together to do what? To act like Amalek. To be against the Jews, to eradicate them. Halacha, Esav sonei Yaakov. You open on Shulchan Aruch, there's a halacha that says Esav will forever hate Yaakov. They said, okay, let's activate that. Let's unite and activate the levav, the dual hearts of Amalek. So we have over here Bilam, who's a Rasha, Tameh. You know where he went to college? You know where Bilam went to college?
Egypt.
Not Egypt. He went to, on Yom Kippur, there's a special goat that we throw off of a cliff. It's called the goat to Azazel. You know what's Azazel? Azazel is a cliff that over there is jagged rocks, and the animal, once it's thrown, it gets thrown into pieces, and the Yetzer Hara goes and busies himself with those pieces, because all the sins of Am Yisrael are over there. Inside that cliff, till today, are two demons. One is called Azza, and the other one, Azza and Azael. That's what we combine and say Azazel. And they were such big demons that they couldn't be free, that they're chained right now. And there are people in the world that have made a special trip to get to them. The Gemara talks on the process of what you need to do, what type of tum'ah process you have to go through in order to go visit them. Sleeping in a cemetery, black cats, burn this, eat that, crazy. And not only that, if you go there, there's a cat with 7 heads that meets you and escorts you. Are you worthy? Not worthy? To make a long story short, and most people that go there ask a question and leave. Bilam not only went there, lived there, stayed there. He took over there, stage 1, stage 2. They taught him all of the tum'ah. This is not a regular guy. This is a very, very high level black magician. This Bilam. Balak, as a matter of fact, not only that, Bilam, what is his roots? When somebody this evil comes into the world, who's his father? Who's his grandfather? He says, you know who his grandfather is? Lavan. Remember Lavan Arami? Lavan Haramai. They say Arami, don't say Arami, say Ramai. He was one of the biggest crooks. He's the one that also wanted to trick. He wanted to trick Eliezer, and he also wanted to trick Yaakov. Oh, so many things that he wanted to do. He wanted to trick Yitzchak. And this Bilam also had one eye. They called him Setum Ayin. He had one eye. One eye was damaged and only one eye worked. And as a matter of fact, this whole concept of Ayin Hara began with him. How come we don't say Einayim Ra'ot? How come we never say plural? Because Bilam only had one eye. You know which one? The bad one. Ayin Hara. Everything they looked at was bad. And since that time, that the energy of that Ayin Hara started with him. Just to show you what type of negative, evil energy he was able to manifest in the world. So this is a very, very evil combo that we have right now, trying to kill the Jews, to eradicate the Jews from the world. So now we have a king and a black wizard working together behind the scenes. Nobody knows. Nobody knows anything. Over what? They come to a mountain and they see over there, you see the tents, you see the Mishkan, you see the Jewish people in the desert. What a calm, serene thing. And not only that, all the Jews are in one place. You know? You could imagine, it's like Chas v'Shalom, they could have dropped one bomb, that's it, there goes everyone. But they try to drop a bomb. What type? A curse bomb. A bomb that was a curse, a klala. Because that was the power of Bilam. As a matter of fact, what was the secret weapon? The secret weapon is that Bilam knew that God gets angry for a split second once a day. A split second, Hashem, it's called Rega. A split second that Hashem gets angry, and at that point, or there has chaos, and if at that moment you do a certain type of prayer or klala, it's going to come true. And Bilam knew that moment. You know how? He had a rooster. And the rooster is kukuriku. What is it called? The cresta would change color. It would go white, red. And in that split second, he wanted to drop the bomb. What was the bomb? It was one word. Kalem. Kalem means like annihilate them. Destroy them. That's what he was waiting for. He was waiting for that split second. He knew during the day that it would happen, and when he sees the signal, he was like, Kalem. And Chas v'Shalom, it could have worked. So that was his weapon. That was his secret weapon. That's what he was going to use. The Gemara talks about it. But look at this. Look at this. This is incredible. How much does God love the Jewish people? My God. Watch this. He says in Masechet Brachot, he says that Kadosh Baruch Hu berachamav al Am Yisrael lo zam bechol otayamim. At the entire time that the Jewish people were in the desert, he never had that moment. He said, you know what, for 40 years I'm taking this moment, I'm putting it on the shelf. There's no such thing, there's going to be a rega of chaos. The entire time in the desert, there was no such reality. Why? Like that, when Bilam comes into the picture in the 40th year when they're in the desert, he's not going to even have a chance. And he says, ולא אהבה השם אלוקיך לשמוע אל בלעם, ויהפוך השם אלוקיך את הקללה לברכה, כי אהבך השם אלוקיך. It says in the pasuk that we're going to learn this in this week's Parashat, that Hashem turned the curse. You have to understand, Bilam, later on in the Parashat, opens up his mouth to curse. You know what happens? His mouth fails him. Hashem puts in his mouth, brachot, brachot. Why? Ki ahavecha Hashem elokecha. Hashem loves you. Hashem loves the Jewish people. Look what he does. Not to mention, if you were here last week and the week before and the week before, what bad boys were the Jews? Well, I don't know what they did in the desert. They need a slap on the hand. What they did, if not more. But you see, look what the Gemara is telling us. Because of the great love that Hashem had for the Jewish people. And he says, in Sefer Micha, it says, Ami, there's a pasuk that says, my nation, Zechor na mayatz Balak. Don't forget the advice that Balak gave to Bilam, Leman dat tzidkot Hashem, against the instruction of HaKadosh Baruch Hu. As a matter of fact, we're going to visit this pasuk later on in the class to see where we see this pasuk in Micha in our everyday. Furthermore, there's something over here that we have to ask. What was this strength that the Jewish people had that the Bilam was trying to attack? In other words, if you have an enemy, you're looking for something. One, where's their strength? Two, where's their weakness? In the beginning of the parasha, Balak highlights to us the strength of the Jewish people. He says, look, I want to go and curse them, but this is where they're strong. In the end of the parasha, we saw we were weak. He says, Hashem, Elokam soneh zima. The Jewish God hates promiscuity. And he sent the girls of Midian, and that's how the whole story happened with Baal Peor. But that's the end of the parasha. But before it tells us the weakness, what was our strength? So it says that he feared Am Yisrael. Every single pasuk that you see in this week's parasha, he refers to the Jewish people not as Israel. He doesn't refer to them as any other terminology except for Am. Am, in a literal translation, is nation. But Am also means the regular folk, the simpletons, the regular people. Not the Chachamim, not the learned, not the rabbis. Am Yisrael. If you look at the Pesukim, Vayagor Moab mipnei ha'am. Pay attention how many times we're going to mention the word Am. That Moab was scared of who? The Am. What's the Am? The simple nation. Okay? Later on it says, Hine Am ala mitzrayim. Oh, here's another Am. The nation came from Egypt. And then he tells him, Lechana ara li et ha'am hazeh ki yatzu mimeni. Go curse this Am. Why every time you're saying Am? You realize that there's something over here. You know, the simple people, the simple Jews, they're very unique. They're very special. And they're very loved by Kadosh Baruch Hu. You know why? Don't get me wrong. There's a lot of types of different Jews. But there's a different type of love. A guy that goes and researches and says, because I went on Google and I saw all the scientific research that was done about something that was said in the Torah and it proved it right, I believe in the Torah, it's true, I checked it. Chazaku Baruch. Not a problem. There's another one that says, I went and I studied 10 years in a yeshiva, and because I read this book and that book and this book and that book, it made me understand, it made me believe, and now I have a better understanding of the Jewish religion, the Torah, and God. Hazaku Baruch. It's also beautiful. But there's another Jew that doesn't need any of that. He's a simple Jew. Tmimut. You know what's Tmimut? Hashem said, I'm going to do. Why? I don't care. Hashem said. Very, very simple. The closest thing to that I see is my mother, is my grandmother, is, we come from Moroccan descent. What do they have in Morocco? They had over there mufleta, couscous, so they're all the way in the kitchen. What did the fathers have? They went to work all day long. But what? Shabbat is Shabbat. They had a book of Tehillim. They had Tefillah. But their emunah, my God, ironclad. The emunah of those people, this blind faith, they don't need to understand. They just believe. And they know that God is God, rules the world, and He is everything for them. Why? They don't need one. Who said why? Since when do we need to know why? We just accept Na'aseh v'nishma. It's like the modern day Na'aseh v'nishma Jew. Those are Am. In Hebrew we call them Amcha. You know what's Amcha? The Amcha became like a derogatory term. Like the regular people, the street people. But it's not. The street people, the regular people, those are the simpletons. Those are the ones that know how to worship, and their service is the most sweetest and the most revered in God's eyes. Why? They don't ask questions. They don't need to know. They just love God. Blind faith. Ed Bilam discovered that. He says, because of those people, not because of the ones that are learning Torah, not because of the one. Of course, it's also because of the ones that are learning Torah, and of course, it's also the ones that are inquisitive and ask. And there's different types of Jews, different characteristics, different minds. But the ones that are able to worship HaKadosh Baruch Hu without asking questions, that gives HaKadosh Baruch Hu the most nachat ruach. And he says that's their strength. That's their strength. That's what he discovered. The Am. Furthermore, the rabbis tell us, what are these people, if you want to give me, what are they like? So the Gemara says that they're like charcoal, because charcoal in Hebrew, when a charcoal is lit, right? After you fan it and you let it sit down, if you look at the barbecue, pick it up, it's gray on top. You would think it's off. In Hebrew, it's called amumim. You know what's amumim? Amumim means that they're dormant, that they're right now the way that they are. But the minute you go like this, boom, turns hot red. He says that's the Am. Like the Gechalim Amumim. What's Amumim? You think that they're simple, you think that there's nothing over there. But the minute you fan them a little bit with Emunah, a little bit of Torah, they become like fire. He says that's the Am. And Bilam saw that group of people, and that's what he was worried. He says that's their credit. That's what he discovered. As a matter of fact, this avodah pshuta, this simple work, this tmimut, being tam with the Kadosh Baruch Hu, being more tam than educated. Not that education is a bad way, but you understand the point that I'm trying to make. This service that comes from a pure heart, with no ulterior motives. Not I'm going to do a mitzvah because I want to get rich. I want to keep Shabbat so I can find my zivug. The deals we make with God. The guy that picks up the book, prays, puts it down, goes home. Why? Because I'm supposed to. The guy that wakes up in the morning, goes, puts on tefillin, blesses over his food, and continues with that. Why? Because he has to. Not netilat yadayim so he can be rich. Not pachel shachit so he can be not have diseases. Everybody finds a way. Why am I doing this? Tell me why I'm doing this. Tell me the reason of this or that. The guy that doesn't need a reason, that pure service. the one that has no angles. That's Am. That's what the Hashem loves. And having said that, it opens up the pasuk that Shlomo Melech says in Mishle, Berov Am Hadrat Melech. Did you ever hear that pasuk? He says, Berov Am, when you have a multitude of people, Hadrat Melech. That's how you are glorifying Hashem. That's why it's nice to pray in a minyan. That's why it's nice to be in a group of 100 or 200 or 300 people that are dancing in a hilulah for God. Berov Am Hadrat Melech. Let's say, for example, if you're in shul, how beautiful is it when 100 people sing Az Yeshir Moshe? Oh, hallelujah. How beautiful is it when 200 voices are singing Berov Am Hadrat Melech. But Mishle, Shlomo Melech, he could have used any other word. No, Berov Am. Again, that simpleton Jew. Now, because Bil'am discovered this connection of the Jewish people to God, that he found that the Jews that are connected to God without an intellectual reasoning, without, mental gymnastics, Hashem protects them even when they sin. It creates a protection level that even when the Jewish people are sinning, Hashem protects them. How's that possible? How could that be? We know, you sin, you get punished. You do a mitzvah, you get a reward. What are you telling me over here? So listen to this beautiful chidush. We know in Perek Tehillim, in the 121st chapter of Tehillim, there's a famous line, Lo yanum velo yishan shomer Yisrael. He doesn't sleep and he doesn't snooze, the protector of Am Yisrael. Don't think Hashem is taking 1 second off from protecting us. I know that we're all tzaddikim in the room, but aren't there some Jews that are not keeping Torah mitzvot? Is Hashem protecting them too? Aren't there some Jews that are not eating kosher and not keeping Shabbat? Is Hashem protecting them too? You know what? The answer is yes. The answer is yes. You know how? This week's parasha is going to prove it to us. This entire parasha, if you look into it, is kind of weird. Because we have the whole story. If you think about it, the entire Torah is Vaydaber Hashem Moshe Lemor, Vaydaber Moshe Hashem Vaydaber Aaron. It's like a dialogue. Did you notice that right now we're like in a third person scenario? We're almost on the outside and Hashem is reporting to us, or the Torah is reporting to us, this dialogue between Moab and Edom, Balak and Bilam. Where did this come from? Moshe wasn't there. This is not what Hashem was speaking to Moshe. This is not what happened to the Jews in the desert. This is like a whole other, it's like in Hollywood, they go, camera 52, they go to that camera, and now they're the scene, and then, zoom back to our storyline. What happened? Everything that's happening in this week's parasha, the Jews know nothing about. They are in the desert, they have the Ananei Kavod, they have the Be'er Miriam, they have the Man, everything is hunky-dory, as they say. It's just a regular day in the Sinai desert. Meanwhile, on the mountaintop, you got these two evil guys going, how are we going to do that? Well, let's get them. How are we going to do it? We're going to curse. We're going to find the second. We're going to find the moment. It's incredible. We're two of the biggest Reshaim to ever live on this world are planning to annihilate the Jews, and we know nothing about it. We know nothing about it. By the way, you should know that before Bil'am went and took this job, let's call it, of getting hired by the king of Moab, he asked God if he should do it. He asked God. In Perek Chavbet, let me see if we can read it to you. In Pasuk Chav. Look what it says over there. Vayavo Elohim el Bil'am balayla. God comes to Bil'am at night. Vayomer lo, He says, it tells you, if these people told you to go with them, get up and go with them. But just what I'm telling you, you're going to say. So he went, he took the donkey with him, and he went to Moab. He tells him, don't go. And he went anyways. Over here, we have the famous story of the donkey. It says, Vayakom Bilam baboker. He woke up in the morning, Bilam, and Vayachvosh et atono. He took his female donkey. Oh, by the way, when I gave you the biography about Bilam, I forgot to tell you, he also partakes in what do you call it? Bestiality. He used to sleep with the donkey. He actually married the donkey. Why? Because he needed to be tameh every day in order to get more tameh and more tameh in order to increase his level of tum'ah. Forgot to stick that in there also. That's what level of a rasha he was. If you say korbanot in the morning, you have a pasuk that's very similar to this. It says, Vayakom Bilam baboker ve'achvosh et atono. He woke up in the morning and he saddled his donkey. If you do korbanot in the boker and you do akedat Yitzchak, exactly, Chazak u'Baruch. What does it say with Avraham? I'll read it to you. So after Avraham Avinu gets the instruction to go slaughter his son on a mizbeach on some mountain in the middle of nowhere, what does Avraham do? Vayashkem Avraham baboker vayachvosh et chamoro. So here's the distinction. Vayakom Bilam baboker in Avraham, Vayashkem Avraham baboker. So we have Vayashkem versus Vayakom. What's the difference? Vayashkem is when you are waking up in the crack of dawn. Like, you know, when you go to pray nets, the earliest minyan, that's called Hashkama. You know what's Vayakom baboker? He rolled out of bed at 10:30. As long as it was still morning. Two different ways of waking up in the morning. It says Vayachvosh et atono, Vayachvosh et chamoro. He took the female donkey and Avraham took the male donkey. What's the difference over here? So look at the differences between Avraham Avinu and Bilam. As a matter of fact, later on maybe we'll learn a Mishnah that talks about the differences between Avraham and Bilam. And you know, we just learned a few minutes ago, Lokam beIsrael ke Moshe od. We had the comparison between Moshe and Bilam, that one was a Navi for the Jewish people, one was the Navi for the Goyim. So why don't we continue to compare them? All of a sudden we have a comparison of Bilam and Avraham Avinu. What's going on over here? Take a look at this. It says that Avraham Vayashkem Vayakom. We said Vayashkem, he's early to do the mitzvot. Chamoro, we said it was the male donkey versus the female donkey. We know why Bilam took the female donkey, because she was his wife. And it says also they took Shne Na'arav ito. Avraham took Ishmael and Yitzchak with him. And it says with Bilam also, they took Shne Na'arav imo. What's the difference between Shne Na'arav ito and Shne Na'arav imo? And who are they? Who did Bilam take? So over here, this is a little bit high level, but you should understand that, you know, Ne'arav, you almost have to understand that it's not actually people. The Zohar says, or I won't say the Zohar, we say Chazal have described it, that a person lives with his physicality and his spirituality. That's his Ne'arav. He always has like these two things, the body and the neshama fighting with each other. Avraham, he took Shne Na'arav, he took his physicality and his spirituality, ito, with him. In other words, what? He's in control. When it says Shne Na'arav imo, you know what's imo? It's with him, meaning it's a part of him. The physicality is what's controlling the spirituality in Bilam. Where in Avraham, it's the opposite. It's the spirituality that was able to control the physicality. So when you read that in Pirkei Avot, on the 5th chapter, on the 19th Mishnah, look what it says over here. Whoever has these three things, he is the student of Avraham. What three things? And if he has these other three things, he's a student of Bilam HaRasha. Okay, what are they? Avraham, Ain Tova, a good eye. Veruach Nemucha, low profile guy, humble. Venefesh Shefela, not a Shvitzer. You know what's a Shvitzer? A person doesn't like to go show off. He's a Amcha, regular one of us, right? He says now, that's who has, by the way, we know it's an Ain Tova. Ain Tova is that you can right now walk in here and you put a key on the table of a Maserati, and I'm happy. So happy for you, bro. You got a beautiful brand new car. Or you tell me, you know what? I just moved into a house. I go to the house, it's 7 floors. I'm so happy for you. He has 7 floors. Ain Tova, that you're happy for the other person's success. That's Ain Tova. This is something that you know, it's easy to achieve if money is not a big deal for you. If you don't have jealousy. Because you say kin'ah, ta'ava, and kin'ah, ta'ava, וכבוד. Thank you. קנאה, תאווה, and כבוד מוציאים את האדם מהעולם. Jealousy, desires, overwhelming desires, and someone who's seeking a lot of honor, those can take a person out of the world. That's the tchunot. Those are the characteristics of a rasha. So let's see. Ain Tova is good. Ruach Nemucha is good. Nefesh Shefela, that's good. And that's Avraham Avinu. Ain Ra'ah, remember who's Ain Ra'ah? The one-eyed guy, the guy that has Ain Hara. Veruach Gvoha. Oh, you know, do you see what he says in this week's Parashat? Listen, I'm the best. There's no better wizard than me. Even if you fill up my entire house with gold and riches, I don't think I can do it. In other words, he gave his minimum payment. He says, you know, first give me my whole house filled with riches and gold. Maybe I'll think about it. There's not enough money in the world to satisfy that ego. V'nefesh rechava. Nefesh rechava, it's a nefesh that always needs approval, that always needs people to be around them. It's a nefesh that always needs to be elevated. You know, the low shafel guy, what happens with him? He's the best guy in the room, but he doesn't act like it. He's the best guy in the room, the most accomplished, the best midot. You don't even see it on him. You think he's just a regular guy. The nefesh rechava, that's the guy that has the worst midot. That's the guy that has everything wrong going on with him, and he's the one that has the microphone in the room. He's talking and teaching and saying, and what I'm going to do. Not talk about me, relax. Sometimes you get into a room and you see this guy takes over, and he's not the guy to give an example. So we see that there is now 3 things. So now I'm going to bring it back. It says, "Velakach shne na'arav ito." It says that they both took the na'ar with them. What's na'ar? So let's do it again. Nun. Ruach nemucha. That's the nun, nemucha. Ain. Ain hara, the ain tova, ain hara. And we had the ain tova, ruach nemucha, ונפש שפלה. Ruach Gvoha, Ruach Nefesh Rechava. It says the 3 things, the Na'ar Shelakhu ito, they took Na'arav. He took his 3, right? Avraham Avinu took Ain Tova, Ruach Nemucha, Nefesh Shvela. And Bilam, what he took? His 3, which is the complete opposite. Ain Ra'ah, Ruach Gvoha, and Nefesh Rechava. But why would they compare Avraham Avinu to Bilam when they already could have compared him to Moshe? So there's a very famous saying that maybe right now is going to change it for you. Did you ever hear of the concept of Derech Eretz Kadma LaTorah? You never heard that?
Yeah.
Derech Eretz Kadma LaTorah means this. That good behavior, manners, a proper way of interacting with the world and the people within it precedes learning Torah. In other words, you have to be a mensch, you have to be a gentleman, you have to have manners, you have to have midot tovot, good characteristics, good traits, before you can go and start to learn. You have to have midot. Avraham Avinu didn't introduce us to the Torah. Huh? No, it's good. The Avraham Avinu didn't introduce us to the Torah. Who introduced us to the Torah? Moshe Rabbeinu, right? Avraham Avinu, what did he do? He taught us Achnasat Orchim. He taught us how to, what's the right way to interact with people. He tried to teach everybody about a monotheistic mentality, that there's a one God. He showed us a derech eretz. And then we had the Torah, which was from Moshe Rabbeinu. So what did Bilam want to do? He wanted to attack the head of Avraham, which was the beginning of Judaism, and then he wanted to attack the current leader, Moshe. So when he said Derech Eretz Kadman LaTorah, he says, first, let me be the complete opposite of Avraham, and then I have the power to be the complete opposite of who? Of Moshe Rabbeinu. In other words, he went for the whole pot. He went for the whole pot. He wanted to get the Jews from the shoresh, from the essence of what they're about, all the way to their current leader. He begins his attack. He begins to bring sacrifices. He goes to 3 different spots. And over there he brings 42 different sacrifices. He brings parim, elim, and he brings it in different places. He goes to one spot, he says, it's not possible over here. He says, let's try over there. Maybe over there it's going to work. He goes to a different spot, brings some korbanot over there. It doesn't work. He goes to a different spot. He tries, it doesn't work over there. 42 korbanot, 3 different places. It's the same thing with the donkey. I don't know if you know what happened with the donkey. The donkey started to go. All of a sudden, instead of going straight, it goes into the sadeh. So he didn't understand. Why are you going into the middle of a field? So the donkey was trying to explain to him, if you're going to attack the Jews because of Avraham, maybe you have a chance, because Avraham had Ishmael and had Yitzchak. Later on, he brought him back to the road and he hit his leg on a wall. He says, maybe Yitzchak, he says, maybe you're going to think because Yitzchak had Esav and Yaakov, so you have one way, you have Esav. And then later on, when he came, there was an angel in front of him, he couldn't go anymore. He says, you can't get Yaakov. He kept trying. The donkey was giving him an advice. Anywhere you go, you're not going to be able to do it. They have somebody to rely on. When he came, it's like, he was a spiritual tourist. Sometimes people, when they pray, if it doesn't work for them, they switch a place. Balak was a spiritual tourist. He says, over here, no, Hashem doesn't hear me over here. Oh, over there, no, Hashem doesn't hear me. It's like the guy in Judaism, 1 week you see, 1 month you see him, he's praying in Chabad. 2 months later you see him in Breslev. Then Safra. And after a sudden you see him in a little shtibo. What happened? It's like, he's looking for the spot. Here Hashem hears me. Oh no, maybe if I go over there, Hashem will hear me. Sometimes people are always looking from shul to shul to see which is, like spirit. We spoke about spiritual tourists in a different class. But it's a different type of spiritual tourist. Not here, over there. Not here, over there. Like, the Bilam theory. Eventually, he comes to the conclusion that he can't hurt Am Yisrael. And he comes and he gives a very famous pasuk. And this is going to tie up our whole lesson into what we just learned. Actually, the whole lesson was for this pasuk. At the end of the parasha, as he comes to curse the Jewish people, he can't. He witnesses that their tents, one door is not facing the other door. In other words, they don't care what's going on in somebody else's house. Everybody has their privacy. He sees how they are, that they're in the ohel learning. They have the cheretz with one another. And he gives the pasuk that the Ashkenazim have this as a custom to say it the first time that they enter the shul every morning. It says, "Ma tovu ohalecha Yaakov, mishkanotecha Yisrael." He says, "How beautiful, how good are your tents, Yaakov? Mishkanotecha Yisrael, your place of dwelling, Israel." Now, remember we said at the beginning of the lesson, what's Yaakov? Yaakov holds on to the heel of Esav. He says, "Ma tovu alecha Yaakov." How beautiful is Yaakov, the Jewish people that have all these different challenges. They are living between the goyim. Where did they go? To the ohel. What's the ohel? They go to the Bet Knesset. They go to the Midrash. They learn. Even when they're surrounded with all the goyim, they still go and learn. And all of a sudden, he gives them the transfer from the title of Yaakov. What did we say in the beginning of the lesson? How do you get the status of Israel? How do you get the status of Israel? He gave it to him right now. Mo tovu alecha Yaakov, mishkanotecha Israel. I can't touch you. You became Israel. You're complete. Every day at the end of Tefillah, we have a thing that's called Eser Zchirot. If you ever want to pick up 10 quick mitzvot early in the morning, do this. In the back of every sidur, or more sidurim, there's a thing that's called Eser Zchirot. 10 things that we must remember every day. And it's very easy. It's a mitzvah. It's a mitzvah to remember these things. Look what it says. We must remember this every day. Yetziat Mitzrayim. We must remember Yetziat Mitzrayim. That's easy. Shema Yisrael talks about it, and almost everything that we do talks about Yetziat Mitzrayim. Shabbat, right? Who doesn't think about Shabbat? Sunday already. Oh, let's go shopping. Chevot Shabbat, everything Chevot Shabbat. Haman, Nahan the Haman from Purim. Even though it's good to remember him also, he was a wicked man. The man that Hashem gave us spiritual sustenance from the Shamayim to let us know Parashat is Mishamayim. Hashem, when He wants to give it to you, He gives it to you exactly what you need. Umaaseh Amalek. What's Amalek? Right after Kriyat Yamsuf, they came, attacked us right after the splitting of the sea. How dare they? What did they do? But what was their reasoning? They wanted to cool the water so everybody else from after them can attack us. Be easier to attack the Jewish people. Never forget Maaseh Amalek. Ma'amad Har Sinai. I can't forget Har Sinai, right? Matan Torah. And the way that the Jewish people angered God in the desert, specifically with the golden calf. And here is the one that's connected to our lesson. The advice that Balak and Bilam, or what they were zomemim, like what they were planning on doing, Balak and Bilam, to our forefathers, even though Hashem told them don't do it, they did it anyways. And over here we see another proof that there's bchira chofshit. Hashem gives you a chance to say you can do it, you can do it, even when Hashem tells you not to do it. Just like the Torah tells us, don't do this, and we still have the option not to do it or to do it. Over here too, even for the Rishayim, He gave it to them. He says, don't forget what happened. Why doesn't God want us to forget this every day? Why doesn't Hashem want us to forget Balak and Bilam? Because it's very, very simple. Balak and Bilam is a chapter, it's a parasha in the Torah that nobody witnessed. Nobody saw. Hashem gave us a sneak peek to show us how people are plotting against us and we're clueless. So Hashem wants to tell us, listen, every single day there's a Balak and Bilam in the world. Ahmadinejad, or this new guy that's there, or some other terrorist, or some other tunnel. There's always a Balak and Bilam rubbing their hands together. I'm going to get you. And they don't always make it to the news. They don't always make it to CNN. Oh, a plot got thwarted, or that we have some sort of terror cell that got caught. How about the one that didn't get caught? How about that guy that's trying to build a bomb in his garage and he blows himself up and never makes it to the news? How about that sickness that was maybe inches from a person and Hashem protected from him? How about that financial disaster that a person could have been put into, but Hashem protected him? How many things are hidden and we don't see? Hashem doesn't want us to forget that He has our back. He doesn't want us to forget that there are things that we don't see that we're protected from. We're talking about, Haman and Hitler standing, plotting to kill the Jewish people, and we know nothing. You should imagine that right now there's two people in the world that are looking to annihilate the Jews. Who's protecting us? We're here eating falafel and Naventura. Who's protecting us? Lo yanum velo yishan shomer Yisrael. God is. And that's the feeling, that's the whole message over here in this week's parasha, is that Hashem wants us to understand that even when we're not watching, and even when we don't know, Hashem is protecting us. That's why when you're praying, it's good to tell Hashem, thank you for the chasadim that you're doing with me on a daily basis. Ba'avar, ba'hoveh, and ba'atid. Thank you for all the goodness, for everything that you're doing for me in the past, in the present, and in the future. Meaning, what past, thank you for that. I'm still alive. For the present, thank you that I'm here. And you know what, Hashem? I know you're so good, you're taking care of me in the future. Thank you for the Avar, Hoveh, and the Atid. And thank you, Abba, for ma shegalui v'nistan. For the things that are revealed to me and I can be thankful for, that I can say thank you for. But also I want to tell you thank you for the nistar, the things that are not visible to me, that I'm not aware of. That right now there is a terrorist that blew up in his garage. That right now there is a plot that got foiled and the news is not going to hear about it and the police is not going to find about it. It's just two people that tried so hard, or a group of people that try and nobody was able to get to us, only because you, Hashem, protected me, protected us. And that's Balak and Bilam. And that's what Hashem doesn't want us to forget ever, is that even when we don't see it, Hashem is protecting us. And even when you have sins, because you see the Jews in the desert, did they sin? Oh, did they sin? What did they do? They were supposed to be all gone after the Egel, all of them. However, Hashem says, let me put my anger on a shelf for 40 years and make sure that I don't get into a situation where I might have to, what do you say? Kalem! Destroy them in 1 second. Why? Because of the love that Hashem has for HaKadosh Baruch Hu. And where does this love come from? The simple Jew. The simple Jew. The Jew that doesn't ask why. That doesn't need to know every little thing. The Jew that says, Hashem, if that's what you want me to do, I'll do it. Why? Because I love you. Because I want to be connected to you. Because it's emet. And you know what? I want to get the sachar. A good way. A good way to really, really, really bring up your stock in the Shamayim is that you can right now go and find out the reason for what you're doing something. You can find out the reason for why you're doing a mitzvah. But you know what you're going to do? Hashem, even though that there's an answer over there, and maybe, if you want me to learn it, I'll learn it, for not. But I'd like to do the mitzvah without knowing why. I want to do the mitzvah like chukat, like the Parah Aduma. Even the simple mitzvah of keeping Shabbat, when it comes to Hilchot Shabbat, everybody has why, explain that. When the rabbi tells you, you know what, you're not allowed to carry this past this street. Don't say why. You just say, okay, rabbi. Ooh, what credit you get. You don't have to know why. All of a sudden you become part of the club of the simple Jew. Bezat Hashem, that we merit to get to this point. That we merit to get the sachar of a simple Jew. The rabbi in Mashul, Rabbi Sharabani, said something very good. About 3 years ago, they showed a video that in the ocean they found the wheels of the chariot of Paro. There's a video, you can go on YouTube.
4 or 5 years ago.
About 4 or 5 years ago, they found a video. One guy went diving, and in the same area of Yetziat Mitzrayim, they found chariots, beautiful ornate wheels of Paro. So the rabbi said, it was like, oh, it's so exciting. Oh, you see, Yetziat Mitzrayim is real. You know what the rabbi said? He's such a chacham. He says, up until this moment, anyone that believed in Yetziat Mitzrayim without seeing this video, his sachar was enormous. Now you have video that proves it. You have sachar. But not like before the video. Not like before the video. Why? Because you believe tmimut. Yes, the ocean split. Yes, there was a paro. Yes, there was a chase. I believe. Now they proved it. They're going to prove everything. But that's the sachar. That's the Jew that Hashem is looking for. Hashem varech atkhem, sameach atkhem. Shirechem Shabbat Shalom.